Hi everyone, this is Mike with Herbert-ABS with another Learning Series video. In this clip, I'll continue talking about CargoMax approval and the typical onboard inspection by class. In the previous video, I showed the basics of a test, but perhaps the most daunting task is when a sample condition has to be entered completely by hand. Every ship and sample condition will be different, but this video will show some basic tips and tricks to make this manual entry process as easy and accurate as possible. To begin with, it is always a good idea to start with a clean condition through the File, New Loading Condition menu. Next, locate the condition in the VIB. For this example, let's go through the process of entering this condition, Segregation 1, Departure. The first thing to note is that all the information that needs to be entered will be in the VIB. The first few pages will show the summaries, but we want to locate the detailed weight printouts for this condition and go through them diligently. Let's start with the cargo oil group. In most cases, the entries will be obvious, such as empty and full cargo tanks. This condition has some tanks filled and some empty, and we need to enter the values as we see them. Before doing that, one important thing to point out here. Bolded information in the details indicates the information that was used to define the condition, and should be what is entered into CargoMax. Entering a % full instead of a weight, or vice versa, can lead to minuscule differences. In this case, the % full values are bolded, indicating they were used to define the contents of the tanks. I will go back and forth between the VIB and CargoMax to enter the tanks as defined, using the % full values. Moving on to the fuel oil group, here I can see everything is 98% full for this departure condition. A nice tip for entry, if I select the top of a column, it will select everything in the group, and I can enter one value and have it apply to everything I have selected. In addition, one important thing to note here. Free surface handling is one area that is easy to overlook. Some conditions may have special free surface handling. The FS opt column is critical to check. In this case, I see that I have two tanks that are forcing the slack free surface option, which I need to replicate in CargoMax as well. Moving on through the rest of the consumables, I see my diesel oil is 98% full, my lube oil is all 98% full, and my freshwater are all 100% full. I can easily enter those into CargoMax as well. While I'm doing this, another important thing to note, for all tank contents you should always be checking what the density is. Sometimes the sample conditions will use different densities than the defaults in CargoMax. Always confirm the density values used for tank contents. Next we come to the saltwater ballast group. Again, I can see I have a number of tanks that were entered. My % full column is bolded, so those are the values I will enter here. And again, I can select one or more tanks, and based on what I have selected, when I enter the value, it will apply to everything. Finally, we have a miscellaneous tanks group. Here I can see I have 10% full for everything except the bottom, which I can enter here as well. I can select everything, apply it all to 10%, and then just overwrite the bottom value with the 100. And finally, the constant group. This constant group is well defined, and I can see the weight is entered, which I can replicate in CargoMax. CGs are grayed out in this case, but in some cases dry or miscellaneous weights can have editable CGs and bounds. When entering conditions with editable weights, always confirm the CGs and bounds are matching the printouts if necessary. Once all the detailed weight information is entered, verify the calculated results and summaries in the VIB. I like to start with the weight summary and ensure all the weights, center of gravities, and free surface values match. If any are off, go back to those specific details and double check everything. Once the weight summary is 100% consistent between CargoMax and the VIB, all other results should be as well. Go through the standard comparison, change, and revert process as explained in the last video, and you should be done. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching this learning video. For more information, please visit us at www.herbert-abs.com or email us at info@herbert-abs.com.